Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Digital to Dice podcast. I am Dave.
I'm Ron.
And Ron, we got episode 240 today. What do we got?
That's the Archie Manning episode, because after what he pulled off on your stream, he can do whatever the heck he wants.
Yes, we'll have to talk about that coming up here on the show. What him and the Saints did on my replay. Yeah, we'll have to do that there.
The 240 times Archie told Cooper, no, you can't be a quarterback, okay?
Anyway, hey, ways to get a hold of us. Digitaltodice.com is the website. Digitaltodice.com. 978-751-DICE is the text line. Digitaltodice@yahoo.com is the email. And over on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/digitaltodice. And if you'd like to support the show on Patreon for $2 a month to $5 a month, if you think the show is worth 50 cents an episode, head over to patreon.com/digitaltodice and be a supporter of the show. And we want to thank all our Patreon supporters and channel members that keep this thing going.
Curious to talk about that. We'll see magazine covers every once in a while, Sports Illustrated or the Sporting News from the late 70s and such. And it was $1 a week at that point, and you put it through the inflation calculators, and it's the same $4.25 or $5 that you pay for a weekly magazine now. It's like, you don't think of it that much, but yeah.
Last time I looked at a magazine, it was like $7 or $8. I was like, oh man! Even the newspaper, the dailies are a couple of bucks now.
Oh, I think that the Daily Rag here is like $2.75, and it's just like
I
8
remember when they were like
around the USA Today.
I remember when I used to go up the street here, way back. Okay, hang on a sec. Here we go. All right. I remember going, up to the corner here not that long ago and picking up the Daily Boston paper for 25 cents or 50 cents and come home and, get some scores or just read through it or, whatever I was looking at there. And it was beautiful. It's like, I used to have it delivered for 50 cents an issue. I used to have it delivered, Oh,
yeah.
And then Sunday would come, you get all the coupons and you'd have all the, reading about the football games and the previews and stuff.
Coupons paid for the paper itself for the whole thing.
Yeah, it did, and now since they've gone up, and it stinks because of the circulation's gone down and everyone's going online. It's like to get printed stuff, it's more expensive and, they have to raise the rates just to make it worth it. And it's too bad.
Size of the paper just shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. So my mom used to give me like 30 cents a day one summer, 178, 30 or 30, maybe 50 cents a day. To go do what I wanted with it. Went out with the babysitter because it was her first real paying job. She worked at the local high school, and that 50 cents either bought a newspaper, a pack of baseball cards, or a Coke. So two of those three things I could buy every day. So that was it. 1978 was a long time ago.
And we're still budgeting. We get our money. What do we want to do with it today? I can buy one thing.
That's right. You can buy one thing with it. So
yeah.
Anyway, it's just
Anyway, so if those of you listening for the first time, Digital to Dice podcast is what we do, and we talk about sports simulation games that we play on our tabletop, games we play on our PC, Stratomatic app, things like that. Those are some of the older games, Status Pro. We play the action PC games on our tabletop. On our computer, also the Stratomatic PC games as well. So we do a variety of things, but most of it centered around the sports simulation type of games. Not the Maddens or the NHL 25s or anything like that. Those are all console games. These are, the old fuddy-duddy games, the people that, like myself, who gave up trying to score touchdowns in Madden a long time ago, get to have some fun, especially with the older seasons and the older guys. So that's what we do here on Digital to Dice, in case it's your first time here. Now, the big announcement, and I think we should hit that right off the top, all righty, before we get into anything else. The big announcement.
Yes, I finally got my hair cut. Oh, that wasn't it.
You are looking quite dapper, I must say.
Thank you.
I know we were live on video last week there, but we should be live again today because you are looking quite dapper.
Thank you. Thank you.
In fact, I'm going to need a new picture of you for the website that I'm creating for Digital to Dice Con 25. Woo-hoo! Yes, Digital to Dice Con is happening. I guess we've settled on that name for it. I will have a website up shortly for that with all the details. But basically what's happening is when I went to Ohio last summer, or this summer actually, and had such a good time with everybody, and I looked, and all the events are in the middle of the country and further west. You got your PlayCon in Colorado, St. Patrick, and those guys are setting one up in, was it Indiana, I believe it is?
Indiana in early April, I believe.
Yeah, Ohio was the one that Jeff set up at the Hall of Fame. Atlanta is APA. And there's really nothing up here in the Northeast for anybody to attend. So this is something we've been kicking around for a while. We did a lot of talking in Ohio about this. And Mike Canistrari has been really the guy running point on this because he's been setting up. Then again, he's just like a couple of miles away from the hotel we're going to. So it's easy for him to shoot over and talk to them. But he's got it all set up down there. So we're going to be having this in Preston, Connecticut, which is right next to Foxwoods, and which Foxwoods is the big casino down there in Connecticut. There's two of them, Foxwoods and Mohegan Sun, so you can pick your place if you want to go to either one. But we're going to be right across the street from Foxwoods. You can actually see Foxwoods from this hotel.
Yeah, Mohegan Sun is closer to New York, and Foxwoods is closer to Boston.
Right. Yep. It's not that far from Mystic, Connecticut either. It's like 15 to 20 minutes away from Mystic, Connecticut. So if you wanted to zip down to Mystic and see the old village down there and visit Mystic Pizza and hit the aquarium, it's not that far away either. So there's a lot of things to do out here in this area. Go to the casinos, whatever. So we decided to have it, and that's the hotel I stayed at when I made my journey to Ohio. I stayed down in Connecticut on Thursday night so I could just, head right over to Mike's house and we could travel to Ohio first thing Friday mornings. Instead of me taking a 2-hour trip from Boston down there and then another 9 hours, I took the 2-hour trip in the morning. On Thursday night. So anyway, I'm going to put some pictures up of the hotel. Mike's been over there talking to them. He took some photos so we'll see some of the amenities. They have a pool. They have a hot tub. They have a decent-sized gaming room that we're going to be using on Saturday and Sunday. They do have if you want a weight room there, exercise room, they do have that as well. But again, everything's right across the street from the casino. So if you want to drive over there and go gamble.
It's a Hilton, right?
It's a Hilton Garden Inn. So we're staying at the Hilton Garden Inn in Preston, Connecticut, I believe it is. Now I got to double check. Now I'm kind of doubting myself as I talk to myself here. Yeah, in Preston, Connecticut. Let me just double check here. Yeah, Preston, Connecticut, and the dates are May 16 to 18, 2025. So what they've done is the hotel there has blocked off a book of rooms for us, and we'll have a code to give when that's ready. We'll put that up on the website. Whatever that is. Hey, I'm here with Digital to Dice Con, and so they'll know to reserve you a room under that name. They'll have some special pricing for us too as well. And you don't have to stay there, obviously. You can stay wherever you want. You want to stay right in Foxwoods across the street, stay at Foxwoods and swing over, to the Digital to Dice Con, whenever you feel like it. But we're going to be going from probably 8 a.m. Saturday morning, and I think he says we can actually use the room till 10 or 11 at night, I think,
Oh, wow.
I think so, yeah. I think so. I think we have all day Saturday, and then from 8 to 4 on Sunday, for those who want to stick around on Sunday as well. It was expensive for the rooms. I was surprised at how expensive it was. But I guess if you want the rooms to yourself, it costs more money. If you wanted to use it and then possibly split it with other people, then I guess it was a reduced rate, so they could sell it twice, I guess. But so Mike says he wants to reserve the room for us only. And so we're just trying to figure out a weekend price for everybody. We just want to be able to pay the cost of the rooms. We're not making any money at this. So the Hilton Garden Inn, Preston, Connecticut, May 16th to 18th. That's Friday to Sunday is kind of what we're scheduling this to be. I'm going to probably head down Friday after my hockey league in the morning. So I should be there in the afternoon on Friday to be able to set up some things down there and be ready to go first thing Saturday morning. I know I like to sit in the pool and, go in the hot tub and, have something to eat down there. They will have a restaurant there. It's weird hours, but I think they do have a breakfast and a dinner. We're going to try to schedule a place down there to deliver lunches for us, so maybe we'll take like a big sub order, a pizza order, and call it in, and they'll bring it over. That's what Mike's working on too. And so, that's about it. So we'll have a price shortly, probably next month or November, December. You can start booking your rooms down there if you want to get rooms in that place or wherever else you want to go. They're going to have a special Thursday rate. So anybody who wants to go down on a Thursday can get down there on a Thursday if you want to do that too. So there's a few options there.
Nice.
The plan right now, I'm not going to list names right now, but
Yes.
the names of people that said they were looking to attend this, we have an all-star cast coming down in this community. And every day we're getting another person asking about what's going on. We might have as many as 10 people in this industry that you're going to know, developers, YouTubers, anything, people in the industry that if I listed off, you would know. You would say, oh, yeah, that's great. So you might have the chance to come down and play games with a lot of developers. You might have a chance to sit in and get on some YouTube videos with some YouTube people. I mean, so, I will, of course, I'm going to be there. And I'll be having my YouTube going. But Ron's supposed to going to check in with us several times during the day. They do actually have a 50-inch TV down there that I'm kind of hoping that my laptop can shoot the signal up. We can put you on the 50-inch, and you can kind of talk to people there, and they can see you, and maybe ask you some questions in the whole bit, and have you
big giant head.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be.
Do you remember the TV show Third Rock from the Sun?
I do remember that.
Late 90s, early 2000s. Mm-hmm. That was the name of the boss.
Oh, was it?
Big giant head.
Yeah. So we're going to have you, participating down there. We might even have you be one of the speakers down there first thing Saturday morning. So the idea is, and I was talking, me and Mike have been talking, Mike and I, whatever you want to say. We've been talking quite a bit. We get on the phone for like hours and we talk about this.
Nice.
That's how excited we are. And so I talked to him late the other night. I was like watching the football games. Like, Mike, can you talk? He's like, yeah. So we talked for about an hour and a half and about the structure of this thing. So I think what's going to happen is Friday night is going to be kind of a random thing. We'll get down there, have dinner, hang out. I think they said we could probably use the room on a Friday night if we wanted to play. If there's nothing going on, obviously, on a Friday night. But officially, we have it Saturday morning. So we can do some playing on Friday night, I would imagine, or hanging out, whatever you want to do. If you want to go to the casino, go ahead. Saturday morning, 8 a.m., we want to hit the ground running. We want to get in the room. We want to get set up. I'm going to set up a table so obviously we can have you on. And I can do some more stuff for the show and videos. And I want to get some audio interviews as well. So we're going to really take that time to talk to people. I'd like to give all the developers their own table, so they can sit and show off their games, and you can actually sit and play games with the developers of these games, get instructions on these games. We will be allowing the developers to sell their games and sell their seasons. So, I mean, if whoever's coming will absolutely be able to sell their wares at this event. If you want to bring games of yourself to trade or sell, that's open too. This is wide open. We don't really have any restrictions on this. We want to keep it focused on gaming.
Yeah,
obviously.
This is more of a gaming convention as opposed to a tournament.
So what we're booking this is come on down, play games with the developers, maybe play some games you've never played before, maybe buy some games, trade some games, sell some games, hang out and talk games, and that's kind of what we're going to do here. As far as tournaments, we're talking about that. If somebody wants to set up something, that's fine, but we don't want to have anybody feel like they're committed to anything, because you might get there and you might find a game that you haven't played yet, and you're like, something, I'm having a blast with this. I want to play more of this game, and then, oh, man, I got to go play in a tournament. We don't want anybody to feel obligated to do anything. We want you to kind of come down and make this a buffet of games, and you can just...
Yeah, and it's obviously sports neutral. It's not any specific sport that's being featured.
Yep, no specific sport, but anything you want. I mean, even if you want to bring down, I might bring down a couple of games that I have that aren't sports related too, just to show them off, because I played them a few times, and those are fun. There's some fun games that I have that might be kind of fun to play that aren't sports related. I brought a couple down to Ohio. We never pulled them out, but I brought a couple to Ohio. We're going to have raffles, I believe, so we're going to be in touch with not only the people coming down to the show that have games, but some others that might not make it, to see if they would donate, a game, a season, whatever it's a PDF or whether it's a print, whatever it is, to see if we can have some prizes for people if they want to, get some raffle tickets and do that. We want to have some giveaways as well, some souvenirs, so to speak, for this event. And in general, just have a fun gaming time up here in the Northeast, and the feedback so far has been very good. As far as people have been not only the developers and the people that are well known in the industry, but the regular gamers themselves that want to come up and hang out, and I was kind of hoping it would go this way, because there's really nothing within driving distance up here. So in Connecticut, it's pretty centrally located to New England. whereas even New York and New Jersey could get up here as well, maybe even Pennsylvania if you wanted to. And so it's just something up here in the Northeast for us to do, us gamers up here, so we don't have to travel halfway around the country ourselves. Obviously, anybody can come in and fly in and do whatever they want. But again, the names that have reached out to me and we've reached out to, I'm pretty excited about announcing some of the guests that are going to be here. And hopefully we'll be doing that once I get the website going. Probably next week, I would think. Again, we have plenty of time, but I want to get it up. And so that's kind of the rough setup and structure for Digital to Dice Con 25 in Connecticut. And it is, again, it's in the Foxwoods area. You can stay wherever you like. You can stay at, Ron's Hotel down there if you want. It doesn't matter to us where you stay, but we will have that hotel there. I like to be at the hotel, the host hotel, so I can just go back to my room and then go into if I need something at the room, if I just want to, crash for a half hour and come back, something like that. I don't like having to drive anywhere myself, so that's what I like to do. But that is the deal. So that's awesome. I'm excited to learn that. I just posted a new logo today. It's a little variation of the Digital to Dice logo, but I posted it up on our Facebook page. And again, once I have the website up, I will announce that and put it there. And so that's Digital to Dice Con 2025. Real excited about it, how it's coming together.
Yeah.
So that is the big announcement that we wanted to say. What else we got going on here? Oh, we want to talk about Florida and the hurricanes in North Carolina and the whole bit. Boy, we're feeling for you guys.
Absolutely.
I spent the whole night the other night. Me and the wife stayed up like all night watching the news, and we just, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. We hope our friends and our listeners and our game playing community down in that area down south is doing okay. I've reached out to a few people to see how they're doing because I know a couple people are right in the direct path. I have talked to people on email and Facebook and even text a little bit, and they said they've been okay. And a lot of people I know missed the heavy stuff, so that's good.
Which is good.
I'm happy for them. Yeah, and again, there's a lot of people down there that didn't. I'm looking at that, Ron, on the TV, and I'm thinking to myself, if I was down there, if I was like one of the cleanup people, whether I was on the electrical company or whether I was just in a general cleanup, like where do you begin? Do you start like on the outskirts and start cleaning up and work your way in, or do you go into the deepest parts and start cleaning up in there? It's like, how do you even like begin? The mass destruction. Like, how do you even start that?
You go where they tell you to go first. And I'd imagine it's whatever the biggest needs are and then work your way out. I mean, obviously getting power restored is important, especially in a place like Florida where it's warm and you need that cooling for areas and food and all that. But get the main highways clear of debris and trees and power lines, and then just kind of work from there. I was looking at the path there. It looked like it pretty much went up I-4 between Tampa and Daytona for Milton. There was a satellite picture at night, a normal night in the southeast, and the first storm. And Helene, was that the first one?
I think so, yeah.
And you could see where they had lost power because you could see where the lights weren't on in swaths of the Carolinas and Georgia.
Oh, jeepers, I saw that. That was like looking at North Korea at night,
Right. The very popular YouTuber LGR, Clint, who does retro computer stuff, he lives in the Asheville area, and his house got hit by a couple trees. And now, he's alive, and his parents are alive, and everyone's okay. But, years and years of what he's done, last time I knew, weren't sure what was left and what wasn't left. I mean, that's, people's livelihoods and stuff like that. So,
yeah, no, it was pretty bad down there. And again, I don't even know where you start. I mean, sometimes, over here, you go out in the yard and you're like, oh, we had a big windstorm and stuff's knocked over and leaves are everywhere. It's like, where do I begin? I mean, how do I start this project? It's so big.
Well, my mom does a lot with flood work because there are parts of Vermont that are pretty flood prone, and it's just what they do is the places with the biggest need. The most life-threatening situations, get people that are homeless into homes and assess and all that. But it's, she was a part of the crew from Irene, which was 2011. Yeah, because the cat was just a baby at that point. And it was 3 or 4 years before everything was settled.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, so this is not just a short-term thing. This will be years and years of rebuilding.
I just remember years ago there was a hurricane up here in Massachusetts, and they had the news in the eye of the storm, and like, let's cut to so-and-so in the eye of the storm, and they're sitting there like, hi, here I am in whatever town it was, and it was blue skies, sunny, and you'd never know that around them there was all this wind and devastation. And they're like, I'm in the eye of the storm, and it's absolutely gorgeous, but in 10 minutes, the other part of the hurricane's coming through. We're going to get wiped out.
Was Shelby Scott still tied to a rock at that point?
Yeah. Poor Shelby. Poor Shelby.
Now, I got WBZ TV4 up in college, and every time it snowed in Boston, they'd have her,
Yeah, she kept drawing the short straw to a point where they didn't even draw straws anymore. She just left. Okay, let me get my hat. Yeah. So boy, that's unbelievable. On a lighter note, up here in the Boston area, we've had a fantastic Northern Lights show going on up here.
It was too cloudy here last night.
Yeah, last night I was recording the roller hockey show with Flynn last night, and the wife yelled down to me, and I didn't hear what she says. I'm like, I'm recording. I really can't talk right now. So she went out to the airport over here. We got a small airport, and there was 300 people at the airport looking up at the sky for the Northern Lights up here. And everyone got some really good pictures, so it was kind of neat. I might try to go look tonight, although it is very cloudy tonight, so I don't know what I'll see tonight. But I missed it. I said, where'd you go? I go upstairs, go, her car's not here. I go, where'd she go? And she's like, I'm looking at the lights. I go outside, and I missed it by like 20 minutes. So, in fact, speaking of that roller hockey show, I might have mentioned this before, that I was the one I do with Flynn every week for the Professional Inline Hockey Association. They had a tournament or a festival down in Nashville. And one of the teams that was supposed to go was from North Carolina. The city got hit really hard, and their rink's gone. And so they don't even have a home rink to play on right now, and they decided to not go to Nashville because they're like, well, we just kind of got destroyed over here, so we're really not in a hockey mood. But, yeah, one of the new teams of the league is down in North Carolina, and they got hit pretty bad. So it just sucks all around for everybody. It really does.
Yeah.
It really does. All righty. So, anyway, today, what are we going to talk about today? Well, we had another fantastic Facebook group question. You guys are nailing it.
Unsolicited. I mean, it just...
And that's what we love to see. I mean, it's great seeing when everybody's playing and the result in the whole bit. That's all fun to check on. But when someone posts a question that generates discussion, I love that. I do. I really like that. And so Ron has one hit today he's going to talk about, and that'll be our main focus today after we get to what we're playing, because we haven't done that in a long time. So let's get to what we're playing. What do you say?
Absolutely.
All righty. Well, I'll go first. I haven't done much. All I've been doing is work, but I did sneak in the final few playoff games for my Action PC Football 1979 season replay. And it turned out to be Pittsburgh, to no surprise, ended up getting to the finals. Okay. Although they didn't play well in their two playoff games. I think they played Oakland and San Diego, I think, or Miami, one of the two. And they just didn't play well, but the other teams didn't play well either. So it was a pretty easy ride for Pittsburgh to the finals. New Orleans, Pittsburgh was 15-1. New Orleans was 11-5, and they struggled with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to get to the Super Bowl in my replay. It took a last-minute drive by Archie Manning and the Saints to pull ahead of the Buccaneers and move on. And I didn't know what was going to happen in the Super Bowl. Pittsburgh was favored by 10, according to Action PC. And we had a phenomenal game where the Steelers were up 28-10 in the third quarter. Not 28-3, Falcon fans, sorry, but 28-10. And I'm like, I don't see, that's 18 points. That's 3 scores. It says, I just don't see the Saints scoring 3 more times in this game. And they drove down and scored 28-17. They kicked off. The Steelers fumbled the kickoff. And they scored again, 28-24. Now we had a game. And it went all the way down to a last-second kick by Matt Barr to win the Super Bowl for the Steelers. And he missed it. His third field goal of the day that he missed from inside of 40 yards.
It was like 31 yards, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like 30. I think he missed from 36, 37, and 32, and he hit.
What did he have? Like an 85% chance of hitting it too, or was it?
Yeah, I think it was like 81, 82%, and he missed it with time expiring in the tie game, and it went to overtime.
And as I've said, 82 is not 100.
Yep, it went to overtime. Pittsburgh gets the ball first, and they fumble, and the Saints easily drove it down, and Garo Yepremian was the hero for the Saints. So the Saints won my Super Bowl. They are the champions in 1979.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. The Rams never had a chance. They come out of the gate like 1-6, and they never even come close to making the playoffs. So we weren't going to get a Steeler Rams Super Bowl. Cowboys played well. I thought it was going to be Pittsburgh Dallas, and then the Saints come out of nowhere. Tampa Bay won their division. They won the wild card game. They beat Dallas up. They beat Dallas pretty good in Dallas. And they gave the Saints a pretty good run. So all in all, a fun time, great ending. Boy, I tell you, 28-10. I'm like, well, we got a dog here. Pittsburgh's going to run away with this, and 15-1 team's going to win the Super Bowl. And then nope, Saints came back. Pittsburgh drove down. Matt Barr can win it. 32 yards out, missed it, and it was just too funny at that point. But yeah, that's on YouTube if you want to check it out. That was a real fun game, fantastic ending, fantastic end to that. That project there. So
I was about the age 7, 8 years old at that time when someone told me that, Halloween, October 31st, All Souls Day, and that November 1st was All Saints Day. And little football fan me went, why doesn't New Orleans play on All Saints Day, November 1st? I mean, you stick us with the Lions every year on Thanksgiving and this and that. Why not have New Orleans? But, it's a whole because it might be a Tuesday, doesn't matter. But, yeah, that's cute.
Yeah.
That was great because that was perfect. That was absolutely perfect.
And it was also fun to finish a project, too. Even though it was just kind of a game in a week type of thing. Every time I would just pick a game, so I think I played, 16 games and then all the playoff games.
Yep.
So it was a very manageable thing. And the games take me, an hour and 15 minutes to play. And I think I streamed just about every game that I played in that season there as far as the ones I played. That was fun, just picking the game of the week and playing it. And that's kind of what you do with the baseball, and I just did that with the football. Fun time. I do miss the cards and dice, though. I really do. I picked up, I don't know if I talked about this the last time, but I was playing Football Fury from Play.
We did talk about that.
Loving that game. And so what I decided to do was take the 4 original teams that came with the game, have them play each other a couple of times, probably back-to-back because I have them all set up, and come up with a winner. It's sort of be a fast season. And then I bought the 20-team expansion. And what I was going to do is I was going to just figure out some dice rolls to see if any of the 4 teams folded or moved. I'll roll dice and give them a high percentage of staying, obviously. But, maybe a small percentage to see if any of the teams move or fold or something like that. And then roll to see which 4 new teams will join them from the expansion list of 20. And, I might do a little live show with that and just have some fun with it and have some announcements or whatever. But so I want to get more involved with that Fury football because you can play that so fast and it's just kind of fun. And it's a fictional game with fictional teams. And you can't do anything wrong with that. There's nothing you can do wrong with that because it's just all it's a fictional game and it's just fun, So
should I tell you about my oopsie?
Yeah. What do you got going on?
So I've been playing roster card baseball. I've been trying a couple different things and trying to see what sticks. And so
we need to play that. I was talking to you about that today. We do. We need to get on and stream that game. So I've played it once before, but I want to get on there and have you really get deep into that game with me, into the weeds.
So been doing making my own schedule for the 2017 Washington Nationals because that's a team I covered. It is a fun team to do, and so. X about, no interleague play anyway. So I'm playing a game against the Mets, who weren't very good that year. And I think I'm 17 games deep. So, because they play once you get familiar with the game, it plays very fast. So you can whip out a 3-game series in an hour. And I'm using ball score to keep my stats and all that. And so I had to choose my starter for Washington, my pitcher. And I chose Joe Ross. And I think I rolled for the first batter because it was a road game for Washington, and got distracted for a minute. Wife called me or something like that. Then I pick it back up and I go to start rolling for the Mets, and I thought I had the right pitcher for Washington because, again, there's no computer. You're just entering stats in the program. And I had pitched Tanner Roark instead of Joe Ross. So the computer, the stat program, is doing all the stuff for Joe Ross, and I am looking at Tanner Roark's card and essentially doing that. And so it turns out that the pitcher Ross Roark pitched a complete game. And I go to compile the stats afterward and look at the box score and went, Ross?
Oh, man.
And so I pose this is not the question that we're going to talk about on the show, but, it's like, oh, okay, that's an oopsie. And again, in cards and dice, that's not that difficult. Because on the computer, you really can't because it's all right there in front of you. But if you're just keeping score on the computer or doing it by hand, you might be grabbing a team. And there were some good examples, if you remember the Facebook group, of people who go, yep, I've done that. And so that happened this morning, as a matter of fact. I went, yep, I thought I was pitching somebody else. One of those, it happens type deals in cards and dice. And again, it was just a simple distraction, and I never checked the box score within the game. Wouldn't have mattered at that point, but
I've done similar things with hockey, where like I forget to change the lines, or I change the forwards and not the defense, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this guy's been out on the ice for 10 minutes. I just forgot to change him. And it happens, you just go with it and just enjoy it.
You just go with it. The game was over and went, but it's like, oh yeah, like we all make mistakes, and that's someone I think said, because I'm not going to go back and look right now, that they had thought they had pulled their second baseman in the ninth inning, and then he goes back and says, oh, why isn't so and so playing? And he came back and pinched it in the 12th. It's just such a unique cards and dice thing that you get. Right. Again, it doesn't take much to get distracted. So that's been fun. I think Washington is 8-5, so I guess I played 13 games. And again, not even doing a real schedule. It's just blocks against different teams. The 88 replay is down to the last week of the season. I think we're all done with fire alarm tests. They tested the sprinkler alarm today. That went off in the apartment. That was very nice. And the National League is set. It's the Reds haven't officially won it, but they will be playing the Mets in the NLCS. And Mets fans, you get games 3, 4, and 5 at home. And Bud Harrelson, who got in a fight with Pete Rose in the 73 NLCS, will be throwing out the first pitch in all 3 of those games to see if he can get under Pete Rose's skin.
Nice. Do you know what I played too? And I wanted to mention this real quick. I played the Mike Seelock hit and run baseball game.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got a terrific football game. I think it's called the 2-minute drill. He's got all kinds of games he develops, Mike Seelock. And I pulled out the baseball game. I haven't played that in a long time. And I started to play the 1978 Red Sox season. And you just roll like inning by inning for runs. He's got a little chart you look at in the whole bit. And it's a little bit like shootout hockey, where you roll at the start of the game to see if it's going to be, a 0 rating or a higher rating or a lower rating for your hitting and your pitching. So it's kind of like shootout when you roll for the offense and the goalie to see if you get a little bit better or a little bit worse for that day. And that's been fun. I want to do a product of that where I pick a season and take all the teams and just play a playoff, like a best of 3 playoff, starting 1 to 30 or whatever it is, and everyone's in the playoffs, and just see who the champion's going to be. Like if I take 77 or something like that, are the Yankees just going to roll? If I take 80, is it going to be the Phillies? But I think it'd be fun, to have everybody play. And just even the worst team in the league gets a couple of playoff games, and that game plays so fast. You could probably bang that out pretty quick. But if you've never played a Mike Seelock game, head over to sportsreplays.net and look for the Mike Seelock games over there and download them. They're all free. He's hockey, baseball, football, basketball, a few other things, and they are just so fun. The football game, I think, is the best one. That is so fun.
It really is a very good game.
I think Al Red Sox fan played that one at one time too. So
was it him or you? I think it was him that did 1960 AFL, NFL, CFL.
He did have CFL. He did have CFL.
So one night he just did that and just kind of like a round robin. And I think the CFL team and the NFL team made the finals.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. Yep.
So you can do that. That's great. Anyway, so the 88 American League replay is we're down to 4 teams. I mean, Oakland's elimination number is 1. Detroit is hanging on, but they're not going to win it. So it's either going to be Boston or Toronto in the East, and Boston won it in real life, or Kansas City, Minnesota in the West. I'm not pulling any favorites here. I, of course, would love to see the Red Sox. 6th year of Dundas and the Reds. There have been seasons I have picked to replay with the express interest of having the Red Sox in a good year make the playoffs. And they didn't come close in 49. They didn't come close in 78. Some of the other years weren't picked for because I knew they weren't going to do it. And so this will be the year that, they finally are in there, and I will play, as them if they make it. But having the opportunity to have Bo Jackson in a playoff, if Kansas City makes it, he never made it in real life. So
I would like to see what you get for results if you played 1986, because I have not had good luck with the Red Sox in 86.
I did about a quarter season with the Red Sox in Strat with the original advanced, not the super advanced they released a couple years ago, and they were phenomenal.
Maybe it's just how I managed them, but I mean,
there's an article in S.C. Patrick's magazine about why the 86 Red Sox are tough on the table. I haven't read it, so I don't want to get into what whoever wrote that said. I just know from being the 14-year-old that year and being the right age that they won games on wild pitches and, strange. I mean, they won games that they had absolutely no right to win. And so I could see why they had trouble. It was Clemens. You've heard this old saying, spawn insane in 2 days of rain, and that's back when the Braves were in Boston. It was in 86. It was Clemens and Hurst in fear for the worst.
I never heard that one.
No, you have? Yep. And, that was the year that Okan Boyd was kicked off the team a few days after he threw a fit after not being named to the All-Star team.
Oil Can Boyd. Remember him.
So I'll have to read the article in Sports Sims magazine. But that 86 team is tough. I'm not sure I could do an 86 replay because I don't know what I would do if it was those 2 teams in the series. California and New York, I'd be fine with. Boston and Houston, I'd be fine with. But if I ever got Boston and New York, I don't think I could do it. A couple years ago on the channel, I did one game between Boston and Houston crushed them. In Boston, I think so. And what else have I been playing? Oh, Solitaire Pro Football. Started week 2, a little slower because I'm playing some other things as well. That game is just so much fun.
Isn't it? That game, I pulled that out at the Hall of Fame in Canton with Mike Canestrari there, the guy who wrote in with. And he was starting to fall in love with the game. And I'm watching him play. It's like, something? I really like this game too. Why did I stop playing it? And I've been playing a heck of a lot of that myself. But yeah, it works.
Rob Podurska missed a 29-yard field goal, a 22-yard field goal.
Oh wow!
Nick Mickmeyer for the Bills missed a 29-yard field goal. And I'm playing 81, so it's not automatic, but it is such a okay. What are my chances? Because it's a 2% for each one, so it's a 1 to 50 roll. Like 1 to 45, what could possibly go wrong? Yeah.
What's 48. Funny about those kickers in the 70s and early 80s, I remember watching videos of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 76, 77, and they were like 50% for field goals. It was just...
You had Neil O'Donoghue miss a field goal that would have beaten the Saints in that NFC Championship game, right? He missed one, a crucial kick. No, it's an extra point.
An extra point. He missed an extra point, which kind of screwed up things in that game as well. So so they needed a touchdown at the end, not a field goal to tie because they were down by 4, not 3. But I remember, like, you go on YouTube and you see some of the old clips from the 70s games, and the kickers miss a 32-yard field goal, and no one flinches. It's just kind of like, we missed it. We weren't expecting to make it. It's not like they're all bummed out about it. It's almost it was if you hit a 32-yard field goal, it was like hitting a 62-yard field goal. That's just kind of the attitude you get of watching some of these old clips. Like, you miss a field goal, yeah, whatever.
I forget what year they changed the rule. So if you missed a long one, today if you miss one, the other team gets it at the spot of the field goal. It's not just a line of scrimmage, but the spot. So if you miss a 55-yard field goal, they get the ball at the 45-yard line. Then if you missed a 55-yard field goal, it's considered a touchback and the ball's on the 20. So it's the same as if you just punted it in the end zone.
Yeah, well, back in the day, they used to try 70-yard field goals. And as long as you got it inside the 20, that's where the ball would be. So they'd have to return it. And so they were trying field goals they had no business in making. And they knew they weren't going to make it, but they was just treated like a punt. Why you wouldn't punt it, I don't know, but they would try it,
Because if you make it, it's 3 points.
Yeah, but I mean, back in the day, you're trying, 65, 75-yard field goal. It ain't going to happen back in the day. No. But as long as you got it inside the 20, it was, if you didn't make, I guess if you didn't make the 20, it went back to the line of scrimmage. But as long as you got the ball inside the 20, then that was considered a live ball at that point.
Yeah. So that's been fun. That's been fun. I've also expanded because I did a video on the first week. So I'm doing Cincinnati, San Diego, and I'm adding Buffalo and the Jets because those were the teams that were on every week. Because I lived in the Albany, New York market, and it's a secondary market to New York City. So you could, just like with you when the Patriots are bad, you could have the Chiefs, you could have the Broncos and the Raiders with the AFC West on the line, or it's the St. Louis Cardinals and the New England Patriots from St. Louis and 9 people in the stands.
Right, yeah.
So at least the Jets were good at that point in time. So, you could have the Cowboys and the Redskins or the Giants and the Cardinals with 9 people in the stands from St. Louis. So in the AFC, I'm doing Buffalo, New York, Cincinnati, and San Diego. And in the NFC, I'm going to pick up it's going to do Dallas and San Francisco and the Giants, but I'll also do Philadelphia and Washington because I've already done a couple of their games anyway, and those are fun teams.
Oh, man, that whole NFC East, that's my favorite division of all time. Yeah. Redskins, Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, Cardinals, any combination of those. Anytime those teams play, it's such a good time. It really is.
Kind of hoping, I haven't looked at the schedule, that those combinations will get me at least one game against everybody.
There's no other division in football that I look forward to watching anything close to an NFC East game. And even today, anytime the NFC East plays, I just want to watch that game. And, the Cleveland-Pittsburgh games, they're okay. New England, Miami, whatever, and Denver, Oakland. But there's something about that NFC East that it just,
right.
And I never really have a rooting interest. I kind of don't care because I go through phases where I like the Cowboys and don't like the Cowboys. Or I like the Giants and don't like the Giants, And so it's just fun to watch from a distance in a game that
Imagine being a Giant fan and feeling that way, which is true. But all right, let me call up the question.
Meanwhile, at the halls of justice.
Hold on. I didn't have it called up. Kevin Thomas just posted yesterday.
Okay.
We didn't really have a topic for the show, so it was perfect. Kevin says, I've been making a lot of time to play lately. As Gilles Thibault says, Kevin, you are now cordially invited to go help Thibault clean out his closet. Mm-hmm. As Thibault says, you make time for what's important, which is true. We all have the same amount of time to devote. I also can't resist the urge to post, even though it takes time away from playing. That's the main reason that he doesn't do YouTube videos. It would take too much time away from playing. And I got to close out that. And the community needs consumers of all the content as well, right? He really appreciates all of what we do to make videos and post. So that leads to his question. It is one that has been asked before. I don't think we've done this as a topic, though, so that's pretty good. 240, and you've come up with an original concept, Kevin. That's great. But what are your main priorities in the hobby? playing, consuming content, making content, following certain people's projects, creating your own games, homebrew mods, etc. He fluctuates between playing, consuming all of our content in all the different media, and posting about his own project. His current focus is playing. What about you? You know what? We probably should do this as a follow. I really don't want to read the answers to this because I think we're going to do this as a follow-up. I think it's a great idea. A bonus question. Do you ever worry about spending too much time on the hobby? For him, it's something that he has to monitor. If he's not careful, it'll turn into an obsession, and he'll forsake all of his important responsibilities. For him now, it's off to continue his 2023 Spencer Strider replay using Dynasty League Baseball and Digital Diamond, making the most of these vacation days that he's using this week. So I'm not going to read the answers because I think
we should. I think we should read the answers.
You want to?
Yeah, and then we can add ours. And then,
okay.
And then we can get some more feedback on the comments. Yeah, I think we should. I think that we had some good feedback on that. And I know there's some things that we want to add to that. So yeah, let's do that.
Now that I've closed it, so what's your answer? The second question first while I'm pulling this together. How much time is too much time for you?
I think it's this is one of the things I enjoy doing quite a bit.
Right.
Me playing these games or streaming these games, or all the things he mentioned in the first question, following other people and homebrews and the whole bit, and, cutting and printing and all the things that I do. I kind of lump all that into one for as part of the hobby goes. That replaces a lot of my TV watching. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't watched a baseball game all year.
Yeah, so as far as like sitting and watching an entire baseball, football, or hockey game, that usually doesn't happen anymore. I'll sit and I'll watch a little bit before I go to bed, or at night when I'm tired, I'll listen on the radio. But as far as planting myself in front of the TV for long stretches of time, that just doesn't happen as much. And it's been replaced by this hobby here. So a lot of my gaming time, I don't have a set amount of time. So sometimes I go weeks and I don't have any time at all to play. Like right now, my next day off, I got 1 or 2 days off in November. But since the end of September, I've not had a day off. So I haven't been able to play all that much because I've been going from rink to rink to rink and, computer to computer. And I just haven't had the chance to play. I did manage to squeeze into my Super Bowl, which was kind of fun. But I haven't set up any cards and dice because I haven't had the time to do that. But for me, I don't have a set time. It's whenever I can get to it. Sometimes it's every day, and sometimes it's not for a couple of weeks as I get busy. It does, like I say, it's after dinner. We have dinner, and the wife and I watch a little bit of TV or chat or whatever it is we do. And then she goes off and does her thing. She likes to surf on her phone and watch Netflix. And I come down here, and I'll usually play something on a normal day. That's what I'll do. So it's usually after dinner for a while. Sometimes it's when I come home from work. It's midnight. I come home from work at midnight. I'm not tired, and I'll play at midnight, so I'll squeeze in a game there. Sometimes it's first thing in the morning. I have a cup of coffee, and I put something here on the tabletop and play. So for me, whereas I have this really weird schedule where it's not 9 to 5, it's just kind of, it's all over the place. It's whenever, is I squeeze it in whenever I can. And it's just, and that's when it comes down to, too, is how much time do I have? What game do I play? I would love to get back to my app of football. I love app of football, but I just don't have that time to set it up and play a game right now.
Talked last week about if you only had the hour, what would you play?
Yeah, it wouldn't be app of football because I don't have the hour, for that. It takes a long time. But I mean, so for me, it's I don't have a set time. It's whenever I can squeeze the time to come down here. So that's what it is for me. It's in between work schedule things, and it's morning, it's nights, it's afternoons, it's all different times. It all depends on how busy I am, how tired I am too. So, when I'm working 12, 13-hour days on the weekends, it takes a few days for me to recover from that, and so I don't play anything because I just don't have the energy to do that. So as far as that goes, I squeeze in. I squeeze as much in as I can. I guess my answer would be as much as I can, and when I have the time.
So Bill is our first answer. Kevin got 15 responses to this.
Fantastic, yeah.
Bill says, I'm trying to find time to play by getting some must-dos out of the way. I enjoy playing and following others' content. I hope to focus on some quote-unquote sports writing when I do my Brave season replay. There are several games I would like to learn and might before the season replay. Not sure about the games that he's talking about in the post. The main thing is to have fun. If it's fun, then you will keep going.
Yep,
right?
exactly.
Yep. Bill?
Yep.
And Kevin said both are good games. He just uses Digital Diamond Baseball as a stat keeper, though like what you do for Ballstat or iScore, and we know that. So, and the Status Pro cards are built into it, and I sneak for version 13 is you'll be able to do a replay only in Status Pro if you so choose. So the other games will be played using Status Pro and not Digital Diamond.
Okay.
I don't know if you'd seen that or not.
No, I don't think I did, actually.
Yeah. Joe Cards says my main focus is playing. However, as you all know, I love posting the replays of all the games that I play. I also enjoy reading the replay posts made by my fellow members. Do I worry if I spend too much time playing? Nah. My philosophy in life is do what makes you happy as long as you're not hurting or affecting anyone in a negative way. It all comes down to prioritizing. As long as you put things in perspective. I love this hobby and enjoy sharing it with others who have the same passion for it. So roll on and enjoy.
I think that for the most part, most people realize that this is a hobby and that, you can't be like, and I was going to add that obviously my work gets done first. If, it's my day job and my night job, whatever jobs need to get done to pay the bills, that takes priority. And then, family takes priority if something happens with that. If we got to take the dog to the vet or, if the wife, when she had her surgery, I was trying to help her around the house. So, of course, all that takes priority. But after that is when the gaming time comes. And it sounds like everyone's pretty much on board with that. It's like,
I think so.
Once the adulting is done, and, again, we're not going to let our kids go hungry or, the grass to grow over the top of the house because we're playing games, So I think we can almost assume that all that stuff gets taken care of and then it's hobby time.
Isn't that how you could tell who was playing epic basketball because their lawn hadn't been mowed in 5 years? Jim says, for me, I'm more into playing. I just love getting at my table and just playing whatever game is on my table at the time. I don't really think you can spend too much time playing unless it actually affects your life in a negative way. A lot of times that I play, it's to escape whatever real life is going to throw at me. I can get in a game and just forget everything. These games can be incredibly therapeutic. We hear that an awful lot.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. There's times you come down, you play a game, no matter what it is, and, it's just like, wow, what a time that was. And you just, it takes you into a good place for a while, and sometimes we need that. It's like chicken soup. It really is.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Glenn says, my priority is playing. I do enjoy posting updates to his projects here or on Discord. He's a Patreon. So I guess I create some content. Glenn, you create very good content. Mm-hmm. But I'm not a streamer or creator of videos. I always catch the content produced by Dave, Ron, and Tebow, and a handful of others in the hobby, videos, podcasts, etc. And he gets a couple, enjoy that. So that's fun too. So Tebow. Mm-hmm. Or Gillies Seabolt, never heard of him before. He thanks Kevin for the shout out. I really enjoy all of it, hearing about other people's projects, seeing their setups on Facebook, watching unboxings, demos, rants. I do find myself getting stuck in the Delphi rabbit holes of reading for an hour or so, which does cut into my playing time. The videos I do are truly something that I love to do, as I enjoy sharing this passion. My main priority has evolved from completing projects to maximum enjoyment of the games with immersion, accoutrements, helpers, etc. And it's interesting to see how people have evolved. Mm-hmm. And Delphi. I mean, some of the great forums, the Delphi and the official Strat forum, and I know I've spent evenings reading replays.
Oh yeah, I'll lay in bed on my phone and just scroll and read, and it's just so fun.
Derek says, my priorities regarding this hobby. 1, the leagues I participate in, which currently are 4 Strat hockey leagues using the computer version and a History Maker baseball league. 2, side projects using various games. 3, my Imagisport channel on YouTube. Oh, okay, that's who you are. I'd like to post content more often than I do, but between leagues and real life, I don't get time for that. And 4, posting any results on Facebook or Delphi. Todd says, Todd likes Diamond League Baseball. Ryan says, good points here. It's all about finding balance. I really enjoy consuming people's content from their replays. Also, the videos and podcasts folks make it. Videos and podcasts are good too. Everyone's reviews are really helpful, even if they're years old. That's true. I mean, that's one of the things that we touched on when we started the show was that, and people have. I mean, there are still to this day, I started listening from episode 1.
Yeah.
Ryan says, overall, I think social media has been good for the hobby. I agree.
I think so.
I absolutely agree. There's so many things in life that social media is not so good for, but, for the sharing of this hobby, absolutely. Mud says, most of my time is spent daydreaming about playing. The little time I do give myself is gone once I set the lineups. I'm currently looking into team sheet options that save space and time. Okay, and he talks about Diamond Mine or Diamond League. So those are the responses we got to that. And again, perfect, absolutely perfect. As far as how do I split my time? Not everything I do is sports, and not everything I do is made for public consumption. I mean, if I like a project or whatever, I'll do a video on it. But, I think it's important for those of us who are primarily content creators, you got to play for yourself. If you're just pumping out stuff for other people to watch, I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing that. But if you don't do things for yourself, as far as playing is concerned, you're going to get burnout. And somehow I made it through 6 years of operating a channel and not getting burnt out on it. How much time is too much time? Well, this is my job. And so, again, there are stresses and stuff, real life creeps in and things that you can control. And as the memes I keep seeing, maybe adulting will be easier next week type deals. And that's not adulthood is all your life going, as soon as this is done, I'll be able to do this. And it's just not true. So there's a balance there, I suppose, along with everything else. But I'm lucky enough that my wife understands that this is what I do. And so there really is any pressure as far as that's concerned. There's other sources of money coming in the house, so we're not relying on me finishing the game between Jose Canseco and Earl Hershiser to feed the cat, that sort of thing. And also, I think because this is my primary focus is to play non-sports things, do non-sports things. I remember when I wrote and spent more time doing that, because that was a 30, 40-hour a week job that didn't pay very well. That seemed to be the focus, and you lost track of other sports, whether you liked them or not, because all your energy got put into putting out as much quality content as you could. I mean, some of it was going to be garbage, but caring about what you do is important. And so other things go by the wayside. This is a lot easier because if you want to produce, great. And if you don't want to produce, fine. But yeah, I don't dream about it. So I guess I'm not doing it too much. But again, if you feel like you're doing too much, take breaks.
Yeah. It's all about balance for me. I mean, obviously I enjoy playing. I mean, the setup and anticipation of playing the game is like, oh man, it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. And then while you're playing it, it's so much fun while you're, in the weeds. And then when you're done I don't know about you, but I always, depending on the game, I like to sit back and reflect on what happened in that game. It's like while you're breaking it down or whatever, like, man, that was unbelievable and this and that and the other thing. And I couldn't believe that this happened. I couldn't believe I rolled the dice on this, or this was the result of the play. And so there's so much fun involved in the setup, the play, and the breakdown of the game, which is all part of it. I do like obviously sharing on YouTube. Some of the things I do, but there's a lot of things I do play offline for myself because it's a lot simpler. I can set up. I don't have to worry about cameras and lights and how it looks and making sure it's quiet and making sure that I can, take this half hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it is, and I have that block of time. Whereas if I'm just playing by myself, I can play for 10 minutes and stop, go have dinner and come back and play some more and then walk the dog or whatever I got to do. But when you're streaming it, you have to be dedicated, and everyone in the house has to be aware that you're going to be busy for the next hour and a half or so. And that's, unfortunately, it's the way it is. So I like the streaming part of it, but I like to play, myself offline. As far as the home brews and stuff, I love kicking around some ideas with the games. I like trying them out. Because sometimes you get an idea for a homebrew and you try it out and it's like, that didn't work so well. Maybe I'll tweak it this way, or maybe I'll just go back to the way it was. So there's a lot of things I like to do with that. I like to experiment with a lot of the games and see what works and what doesn't. Obviously, printing and cutting, it's all part of the hobby too with the PDFs. And sometimes I'll sit and just spend all night printing, teams or cards out and cutting them up and just enjoying that as well. And and I'll be watching people on YouTube playing their games while I cut and print. And that's part of it too. I like I say, I like to watch other people play because I like to see how other people do it. I like Tebow said, I like to see other people set up. I like to see, because sometimes you get some good ideas. It's like, I like this idea. I want to do that, or someone even on the computer will play a game a certain way. Like, I kind of like that. That's a good idea. I never thought of that. And so it's fun to watch other people and get their setup in the whole bit. Then there's obviously the reading of what everyone's playing. And sometimes you look at something, you're like, oh, man, that looks like fun. I want to go play that myself. Or someone will get a crazy result and you read about it, whether it's on Facebook or Delphi or whatever. So I think it all depends, what's going on during the day. If I'm just kind of kicking back, I got my phone in my hand or my iPad in my hand or whatever, or, early in the morning when I'm, getting coffee going and starting the day, I'll go on to some of these things and scroll through and read a few things before I get going for the day or while I'm winding down. So it all depends. I mean, you have your prime time where you have the most energy that you tend to do more of your playing, but, there's times, again, late at night, early in the morning when I'm not looking to play.
Early in the morning, that's one of those things we ask people, when do you play during one of these shows? And it was amazing, the people that get up, and besides Tebow, that get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning and get a quick game of something in before they start their day. And I think there's kind of a zen to it. I mean, the thing about it, whether your team wins or loses, is that there's sort of a balance to it. Because if you're playing pure cards or dice, you're playing both teams. Yeah. So do you really ever lose? It may not be who you want to win wins, but there's sort of a balance and I think a centering way to start a day.
Yeah, mornings are not my time because I have a crazy work schedule. So for me, mornings are not the best for me. For me, it's supper time. It's after supper. It's late at night sometimes. Those are the best times for me. That's what I'm most productive. In fact, most of the things I've done in my life, as far as starting the podcast, starting my hockey leagues, any type of creativity for me happens in the middle of the night. 1, 2 in the morning. That's when all my things happen. That's when I start writing down my notes. So that's just kind of how I'm wired. So for me, in the morning, nothing happens in the morning. It's always late at night when I've settled down and the work's done or whatever it is, and the body's decompressing. That's when my ideas come to me, and that's when I start jotting the things down. So for mornings aren't the best time for me. But if it's the best time for you, yeah, perfect. Go ahead and do that and make it work. As long as it's fun and the whole bit. I will say though, on the few times that I get up real early in the morning for whatever reason, there is some tranquility getting up real early when it's like the lights just starting to come up and you don't hear, like I'm by the highway, so like the traffic is very light on the highway. It's just everything's quiet. There's not many lights in the neighborhood. There's not many cars going by. People in the house are still sleeping the whole bit. There is some tranquility to that first few minutes of the morning there. And then as the world wakes up, it just gets noisy all around you. So I can see that it is nice and quiet. For me, though, I prefer later at night when everybody's settled in the bed. It's dark outside. The traffic's slowed down. The planes stop going overhead. Yeah. At least in my neck of the woods, that's all I hear is planes till about 10:30 at night. and then it's quiet for me, and it's dark out, and everyone's sleeping because it's been a long day, and that's when that's my time to play. So my people play in the morning, I play late at night.
I find now in the last few months that if I'm doing, baseball obviously resolves itself pretty quick, and we're not talking about the streaming part of it because you couldn't do this the way I do it. Is that I find that I'll start something in the morning after whatever time, or after I'm done streaming for the day at lunch, and I'll just nibble on it throughout the day and into the evening because that's on the computer. I don't have to put it away. And so, people, you've asked me, well, how are you doing getting the timing down in, let's say, Solitaire Pro Football? I have no idea how long it takes me to play. I play until my brain starts to go to mush, and then I'll go do something else for a while, and then I'll pull it back out. And so I can do a longer play game such as football, basketball, hockey in a day, but it's not at one sitting. It's okay. Did this for 20 minutes. Let's go back and do that.
That's how I am with the hockey bones. For some reason, hockey bones is mentally taxing on me. And I like to play a period at a time and take a break, whether it's a 5-minute break or a 5-hour break or a 5-day break. I have more fun with hockey bones when I play that period, and then I give myself a break to decompress, because for some reason that particular game requires a lot of brain power for me. And I have played games in one setting before, and it's just mentally exhausting. So for me, that's my game, is hockey bones.
I guess there's just no reason to rush. And when I pick it back up, and sometimes, especially with basketball, especially if you're playing a mid-80 Celtics team and they're playing someone else, it's a blowout. And I think the hardest thing to do is go back and play that. Finish it out. I've got right now Buffalo-Baltimore week 2 in the NFL, and it's 17-0 Buffalo, and we're halfway through the second quarter on a year that Baltimore, I think, won 3 games, and the game's over. And if it was a computer game, Zoom, we're done. But because it's cards and dice, you gotta play it out. And at some point, maybe tomorrow before I get busy, another half hour of that. And so, yeah. Just kind of nibble throughout the day.
Right. Yep. And again, there's no right or wrong way. It's whatever works for you. Sometimes I find if I take too many breaks, and I've lost engagement in the game. So sometimes I got it out. It's like, oh no, this is getting good. I want to stay involved here. And then, if you sit back down, okay, now where was I? And it takes a little while to kind of, get your thoughts together and refocus. So, but anyway, thank you so much for that question. Keep those questions coming, guys, because when we see those and we get some good engagement on that really leads to a good show topic in the whole bit. So, fantastic job with that. Thank you so much. All righty, so should we get on to the 3 stars of the week here?
Absolutely.
All righty. Again, this is episode 240 of the Digital to Dice podcast. In no particular order, our 3 stars of the week, who are all supporters of the show. Number 3, Matthew Benham.
Woohoo!
Matthew, thank you so much for being a supporter of the show. Our number 2 star, well, we're going to go with ST Patrick.
There you go.
ST, yep. And I've been talking to ST about Digital to Dice Con 25. I'm going to drop one name in here on the show. So I have been talking to ST Patrick, yep.
And there's a matchup right there.
Yeah, and he's got his April 5th in Indiana, I believe it is. He wanted me to go. I don't know if I can slip out for that one. I'm looking into it, but that's right around playoff time for some of my leagues, and it's going to be tough for me to get away with that. But anyway, ST Patrick, thank you for supporting the show. And our number 1 star this week, a new Patreon, P-Bus66.
Woohoo!
Hey, thank you so much for signing up and helping us keep the show going. Again, thanks to all of our supporters here. Whether you contribute financially or not, just listening to the show, it does help us out in the comments and the likes and the whole bit. Really keeps us going here to a point where we've been doing this for over 5 years, and now we're going to be doing a Digital to Dice Con in 2025. Mm-hmm. As we get more on that, we'll be releasing more info. Hopefully by the time we do the next show, I'll have the website out and that website up, and that'll have more information on things going on and what to look for in the whole bit, and how you can get your hotel room and what to expect in the whole bit, and the whole itinerary of what's going to happen. So, and again, we want to make it very loose. We don't want to have too much strict things going on. There's probably some things we're going to have to do. I think we have the raffle. We probably should wrap that up before we leave Saturday. So, in case some people don't come back on Sunday, that they know if they win or not. But yeah, so there's just so many things we're going to be doing here on that day. It's just going to be a wide open day, and it could be a really fun day too. If we have the place till the wee hours of the night, so to speak, that might be kind of fun too. That means we don't have to leave at supper time, so we could actually go have dinner and come back. So instead of playing in the lobby, which a lot of people do, I think Mike said we can have that room quite late on Saturday night, and the pool's open late too, I think. So I need to go. Maybe playing some games by the pool. That'd be kind of fun. No, we get the cards all wet. We don't want to do that,
The Love Boat.
Some fun times. All right, folks. Again, ways to. Let me get the music. It's been a while since I've had the music. Let me get the music going.
Yeah.
All right, there's our fade out music. All right, ways to get a hold of us. digitaltodice.com. digitaltodice.com is the website. 978-751-DICE is the text line. digitaltodice@yahoo.com is the email. And over on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/digitaltodice. And that's where we got that fantastic question this week. And
yes.
Prompted a lot of discussions and led to an entire show. And that's how we do it. We rely on you guys to help us find some topics to talk about. Again, 240 episodes. And, it's not easy to find new things to talk about. But we did it this week. So anyway, I am Dave.
I'm Ron.
And we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.